come to the major part of our entire podcast.
I've been waiting for months.
Yay! I am completely... Doctor Who has been really an insane fandom to be a part of, and it's really kind of...
so big.
It's so big, and there's so many people, and we love you all, and yay for Doctor Who. So we finally are close to almost
10 days. 10 days. As of
officially.
today, as we're recording this, it'll be 10 days.
Yeah.
And
10 days till the 50th. So here's our Doctor Who 50th breakdown. We already know we have a trailer. They were released last Saturday.
Yeah, we got two of them, actually.
Yeah, we got two, which was really cool. We know that it's going to be on Saturday, November 23rd, 2:50 Eastern Time or 11:50 Pacific Standard Time. We'll be having a party at my house, brunch, mimosas, that good stuff. I'm excited. We know the basic actors are going to be Matt Smith, Billy Piper, David Tennant, John Hurt. You know the usual. The details about this plot has been kind of vague, and I'm kind of enjoying it because I really don't want to know what it's about because then I'll figure
The trailer
it out.
wasn't even very direct about it either. Like, the one thing is, I know it's not possible, or in some way, I wish they would have cameoed in some way. The pawns. I really feel like
I can't handle. Do not put them on. Now here's my thing.
I really
put the pawns back in because I'm just dealing with this now. I don't want the pawns back. Don't.
They deserve such a huge part of this. I mean, in my opinion, in New Doctor Who, I mean, you know, people like Tom Baker are saying like, oh, well, you know, we deserve to be in it too. But what in my opinion, what they don't understand is that there's a big facial and physical difference in between what they were then and now. The only person that can really somewhat pull it off is Peter Davison, because Peter Davison is not as old. I mean, if you look at Colin Baker looks like a completely different person.
No, but the plot is going to be... I think they're going to stay more to the New Who. I mean, I understand that people are getting really pissed off, especially I've been hearing this a lot on YouTube and Tumblr.
Oh, yeah, it's all out war.
People are pissed off for one reason or another. And you know what? I've come to the terms, because when my brother said this about Breaking Bad, it is never going to be the way you would exactly envision it. So you might as well enjoy the ride while you still have it, because you don't know if it's going to be there tomorrow.
It's one of those things, is because Stephen Moffat's been writing it, he's writing it as how he knows it.
Yeah.
And that's really the key about it too, is I mean, it's not going to be where, you know, these older doctors are going to be completely dormant. I mean, they're going to be referencing things. I mean, look at the 50th celebration trailer.
There's so many references to Classic Who. It's ridiculous. And I get the classic, but I think I'm really excited to see Billy Piper back, because I really, I started Doctor Who with 9 and Rose. So
yeah, me too.
Rose has a very special place in my heart. So I'm really excited to see Billy Piper back.
Rose was voted the all-time best companion of all time. And in the beginning, I would have never thought that in a million years, but you give her a couple seasons, I
love Rose. I'm really, I cannot be any happier about seeing David Tennant. Like, I am stoked beyond belief to see David Tennant. So it should be really interesting. I mean, just watching the 50th anniversary trailer and watching the interaction between 10 and 11 is just, it's phenomenal. It's awesome.
Yeah. If you watch the trailer, you could tell that how are they going to get along?
No, and they have one.
Because they've never met.
No.
Well, physically, them in the same place have never met before. So the Matt Smith Doctor and the David Tennant Doctor, who it's probably 10-2, we don't know for sure, but watching them kind of rival in there is kind of cool.
I wonder if they're going to make a River Song reference, because we all know David Tennant watched River, saved River from dying. Is there going to be some kind of 11?
I'm really surprised that River has not been cast in it, but then again, we don't know.
Yeah, I mean, look at that last episode. What's the last episode before?
And The Name of the Doctor?
The Name of the Doctor, yeah. The Name of the Doctor, we didn't think River's Song was going to be in it, and then all of a sudden we had that huge major scene with River's Song. I mean, and that's one of the few major poignant scenes besides the wedding between River's Song and Doctor. Those are the two prominent moments that stand out for me when they come to River's Song.
The actress who plays River's Song posted online the other day.
Kingston.
Yeah, Alex Kingston posted a napkin saying happy 50th. and it's leading to a lot of speculation that she might be involved. So,
she has to be between that and the Christmas. It's either going to happen this episode or it's going to happen Christmas, because we cannot leave 11 with unless she knows Capaldi. There's the other
so, okay,
thing.
so this is the thing. She's had encounters with both.
Yeah.
So, David Tennant, she had it was only a couple.
One episode.
It was one
episode.
Was it the library? The library. So she's had interactions with him.
But that's how she was saved.
Exactly. So it's one of those things, like when she came flying into the TARDIS from space with 11, he knew exactly who she was, but at the same time he didn't know everything.
Well, and she didn't know who they had, because if you remember,
she's the biggest Time Lord fuck in
if you remember
history.
They're going in opposite directions. So as he knows her more, she knows him less. Or wait, it's the opposite. It's one way or the other. Nice ringtone, Ty. I like that one.
Sonic.
I really think this is going to be interesting. I'm really excited to see River Song and whatnot. So, let us know on our Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, you name it. Find us somewhere on social media. Let us know what you think is going to happen for this 50th anniversary. I think it should be really, really, really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so excited. Like, we waited so long for the trailer, and I remember I was saying in the last podcast that I didn't want to see a trailer.
And aren't you glad you saw that freaking trailer now?
Oh my God. So one of my buddies that is a Doctor Who fan as well just sent me this picture. So obviously me being a musician, it's kind of being a musician is a big deal for me. So basically Marshall, the company that creates amps and stuff like that, which we got one over here because we recorded my band studio, created a Doctor Who TARDIS stack for charity.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
It's a half stack amp. And so on the top of it, which I will post a photo of it, it's the Doctor Who logo, and then the TARDIS is on each stack of it to completely make it look like it, and it's going to be auctioned off for children in need.
Oh, perfect!
Which is a huge thing that the BBC does.
Yeah, BBC and UK do.
That couldn't have come at any better time.
That was an awesome.
Thanks, other Tyler. I appreciate that.
So we have, there's a lot. Just the 50th alone is a huge deal, but BBC has gone above and beyond what they're going to be showing for that day. And just so you guys know ahead of time, do not expect anything. Nonetheless, you should not expect anything but Doctor Who on the 23rd. There will be no other post but Doctor Who, so I'm warning you now. Sorry.
And it's one of those things where, like, so on our Tumblr page, we post a lot of pictures, and it's a team effort between her and I. How 85 to 90% of my posts
are 90. Tyler,
there's so many good things.
I have to tell Tyler, you have to stop sending me Doctor Who stuff. We have enough Doctor Who stuff. But there's going to be a lot.
My vape pen that I smoke is a sonic screwdriver.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like.
You have straight up issues.
It's your fault.
I know. I'm sorry.
She's the one who was like, "You really need to sit down and watch this episode of Doctor Who. It's called Rose." Ruined my life.
No, it did not ruin. Don't say it like that.
It didn't ruin my life in the bad sense. It ruined my life, and that's all I care about now.
No, I know. But speaking of lots and lots and lots of TV, BBC is going to be releasing a lot of Doctor Who stuff.
It's Celebration Week.
It's Celebration Week, yeah, I guess. So if you need to check out your local TV schedule, you're living on East Coast, Mountain Time, Hawaiian Time, I don't care what time you're living on, check out BBC America. They have the full list out schedule. I'm sure at some point we'll post the full list out schedule. But Tyler's going to give you a kind of a rundown of what they're going to do.
Yeah, my notes are very detailed, but I'm not going to give you all the details. It's up to you to check out our page and figure out exactly what's going on. But one of the big things that I'm excited about, because I don't know a lot about Classic Who, and The Adventures in Time and Space is coming out, and that's basically a made-for-TV movie about how they started Doctor Who.
Oh, okay.
So it's the first Doctor, about how it was super low budget and how it gained this super fandom, beyond belief. I think they're going to reference about how it was, the first episode was premiered the day after John F. Kennedy was shot.
Yeah.
That's a little fact there. And the actor who's going to play him is famous for his episodes of Game of Thrones. He's in Harry Potter. He's the I guess the custodian. I guess I don't know his name by heart.
Finch, something with an F. I'm going to be banned from the Harry Potter fandom just for saying that. Sorry. I am like total Harry Potter nerd.
Look at Catherine Tate. She couldn't even figure out David Tennant's
If you've never
character.
seen the video, there's a video of Catherine Tate on a TV show, and she has to answer these questions for charity. And the question was, what was David Tennant's character on Doctor Who? And she's sitting there on the thing, and she's trying to rack her brain because she goes, I know what it is. And she comes up with these random ass freaking names for him, and it's nowhere close to what it actually is. All she knew is it was Junior something. But
something
Crouch, yeah. So it's a really funny video. I'll post it maybe this week. But what else is going on? We've got on Monday, November 18th, they're going to have a marathon of Doctor Who.
William Russell
for, the name of the guy, William Russell.
Yes, William Russell. For
Adventures in Time and Space. So
one of these specials Chris Hardwick's doing.
Yeah, Chris Hardwick does everything Doctor Who. That's Chris Hardwick.
I think him and
Chloe.
Yeah, Chloe Dexter. I think they're both doing one of them.
That's how they met. They met at WhoCon.
I want to go to WhoCon so bad. I want to find my companion at WhoCon.
So, what were we going? Oh, Monday, November 18th, we got the Doctor Who, the Doctors Revisited special. So it's going to be covering the 1st through 10th Doctor from basically 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.
I've watched a couple of the episodes. They've been on demand. I mean, they get very detailed. They're 180-minute episodes of 1 through 10.
Yeah.
Because you already know the story behind 11, so it's, you know.
The way they've done it is, and then that night, they're going to do the same Doctor Who Tales of the TARDIS, which is going to be like a special featuring interviews with Smith, Tennant, past Doctors like Davidson and Baker, and basically others who are associated with the series. And then the same night at 10 p.m., they're going to do the Science of Doctor Who, which is going to be with Brian Cox, and delivering a lecture on the TARDIS, sonic screwdriver, and how things in the Hugh universe would actually work.
It's going to be very similar to something that they did with Star Wars called The Science of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Where they're going to talk about, I mean, is this technology, is this doable? Possible. Is it possible? And that kind of shattered it for a lot of people, but it's going to be very similar to that.
So then from the 19th, Tuesday the 19th, Wednesday the 20th, and Thursday the 21st, basically we're going to have a rerun of Christopher Tennant's Christopher Eccleston. You like how I mashed two doctors together? You mashed two doctors together. I mashed the doctors together at this point. They're going to be running all the episodes basically of New Who. So Christopher Eccleston's brief run as the 9th Doctor. We're going to get on Wednesday we'll have all the Tennant episodes, and basically then they're going to span the Smith era for Thursday and Friday. It's going to be a busy week, and then Friday they're going to have Doctor Who Explained and Tales from the TARDIS, and then we have the Doctor Who thing on the 23rd. And then the 24th, and then on Sunday, if you aren't absolutely sick of Doctor Who on BBC America at that point, because at that point you probably want to yak. But if you're not sick of Doctor Who, on Sunday the 24th, they are going to run a marathon of the top 11 Matt Smith episodes voted by the fans, and then the 11th Doctor will get his own The Doctors Revisited special, because by that point we're going to be gearing up for the Christmas episode.
And we're at that point now where it's like we don't know what's going to happen in the Christmas special.
No, we're in the same boat we were a few weeks ago with the 50th.
I know Jenna Coleman. She posted something about how she read the script. She said it was very sad, but it was very beautiful, and it's exactly the way it was needed to be. So you know those last 15 minutes of the Christmas special. I don't know. You know, leaving David Tennant was so hard. I don't want to go. Like, I was bawling. And then, you know, we lost the Pawns this year. That was really, really hard. And I just, you know, Matt Smith's grown on me so much that it's like I don't want him to go. And now I'm seeing all these memes online. You people on Tumblr are just making me sadder and sadder, because I get these memes where it's like, goodbye, Raggedy Man. And it has the dates he was on Doctor Who. And I'm like, oh, just stab me in the heart a little more. You know, it's one of those things where, like, I had gotten to the point where I was, like, in the middle of the Pawn era. I was like, oh, Jenna Louise Coleman, this chick's really hot and super gorgeous and stuff like that. I was like, I want to get to her. But, you know, towards the end, I was like, I don't want them to go.
No.
Like, I hated Rory in the beginning. Like, I was like, this guy, what is this guy's significance to the show? But he became such a big part, and he became, in my opinion, my favorite companion is Rory. Well, actually, technically, I put them together. The Pawns would be my favorite.
Pawns are cute.
Because there's this thing where it's like this weird tension, love tension between all his companions. It's always been that way. Not so much for Sarah Jane. She's always been more of a like a best friend.
But see, that's
a
funny
sister.
because I think Rose and the Doctor have such a very different relation. Not even okay. So I put Rose and River in two different categories because I don't think their love is exact like the Doctor's love for them is the same.
Rivers and 11 is very weird. It's like
they're an old married couple. Like I think they've been married for way too long because they have the really cooked snapbacks, and I love how he always like, honey, I'm home, and she goes, and what time at what ungodly hour or whatever she says. It's
very old fashioned, and I think they kind of pay tribute to like the older Doctor attitude.
Yeah. And whereas I felt with Rose was that unrequited love, like I want you and I need you and I wish you would stay with me forever, but I locked you in an alternate universe. Sorry about that.
Was it Doomsday? It was Doomsday when they had to say goodbye when they were stuck.
I'm burning
when he couldn't say it.
I'm burning up a sun just to say goodbye. Like, freaking, I was dead after that scene. I wanted to die. Like, it was horrible. And I just wanted him to say I love you to her. And that was just, oh.
The thing is I think it's going to be different in this time around when Matt Smith has to say goodbye because he hasn't spent as much time with Clara. But the thing about Clara is has always been with him.
Yeah.
Always, in some way, has always been with him. So it's like, he always calls it my Clara. Yeah. And the thing is, I think it would have been a lot harder if Matt Smith would have regenerated with the Ponds.
I don't even want to think about that. That hurts too much.
That would have been, because you got to understand, for Amy, she's known
nothing but the Doctor as
that's it. That's all she's known, and that's why I always thought That's why when the 11th Hour has always been one of my favorite episodes because their family's like, he's real.
Yeah, he's actually real.
He's real, and it's one of those things. It's like, she spent all this time waiting for him to come back, and it was a total of 14 years.
Yeah.
He was in and out like 3 times in 14 years, and so the way that Stephen Moffat made it go was extremely insane. But you never got that closure after Angels Take Manhattan.
I thought they did. Now here's the thing.
See, they did. They did have closure. If you watch the PM, if you watch the Doctor Who PM, where Rory writes a note.
No, no. Besides even talking about the scene that was supposed to happen, I think the way the Angels left Manhattan was the perfect way to leave the Ponds, because it was, first off, you knew the reason why Amy chose Rory was because she knew she had to end up with Rory for the rest of time. She couldn't live without Rory.
Yeah.
The second thing that's poignant about that episode is the fact that River Song never takes her eyes off the Angel, because she knew her mom and dad were leaving. But she knew it meant more to the Doctor because that's all his face had ever seen, as he had said in the earlier episode. And the fact that, they go back and they say, read the last page, because at the beginning of the episode, if you remember, he goes, I don't like endings, and he rips out the last page, and then that's the page he ends up reading at the end of the episode. And that's the epilogue telling him, look, we're fine, we're okay, we lived out our lives the way we wanted to, I've been with Rory, like, we love you, and I thought that was the poignant and perfect episode for the way to leave the Ponds.
Yeah, I mean, the thing too is it's one of those things where it's like, right before the Ponds left, you had that one episode with the dinosaurs and all that, where they take Rory's dad. That's the last you hear from him. Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like, that's what everybody was wondering, and that's why Stephen Moffat posted that.
No. You have the dinosaur episode, and then you have the Power of 3.
Oh, that's right. The Power of 3, and then
I think it's Angel Take Manhattan.
Angel Take Manhattan.
Top of my head.
So you never know what happened, because in that last season, his dad is a very prominent role.
It was a really good episode. I really liked him in there. It's going to be really interesting. I don't know. I think I'm not really. I am excited to see what Capaldi brings to the table, because he's either going to be very, very serious or very, very funny, or take a mix of both.
I think he's going to be very serious. I think he's going to.
After we had a goofy Matt Smith, yeah, we have to have, I think, serious. Or
I think he's going to go throwback to like William Hartnell, and I think he's going to go back to the Third Doctor, John Pertwee, the Third Doctor, because Fourth is the one where he started to become funny. Yeah, he started to get that kind of You know, the hello.
But you're talking vintage. You're talking very vintage. And
But the thing is though is they have to have some sort of, you know, because you know it's not like every single Doctor Who fan that grew up on the originals died and, you know, all of a sudden.
No. But at the same time, I think he's gonna be serious, but at the same time he has to have that Matt Smith, because I think that's what a lot of people, because you have to realize, I mean, BBC America hasn't been on that long for us. I mean, a lot of how I watched Doctor Who was on Netflix. I mean, there was no on demand to watch it when I first started watching it. So America is just slowly getting into the. I mean, there have been people who are super diehard fans for a long time, but starting out slow. We're going.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those things. It was like. It just blew up in America.
Yeah, it has been like the last 2 years. It's just finally just like
honestly, you know who made it super popular was Matt Smith.
Oh, he did, because he was the face of, like, everyone loved him and it was very easy. And
now, who's the better Doctor out of the three? Is Tennant.
Hands down.
Who's my favorite? Matt Smith's my favorite, but is Tennant the best? Absolutely. It's. In my opinion, it's, you know, the last two Doctors have been, in my opinion, the best Doctors, and I've watched a fair share of each of the 11. But, you know, as far as old school, you know, it's Peter Davison, and, you know, Peter Davison, you know, he's in the Tennant family as well as Tennant's in the Davison family. So it's like it's one of those things where it just happened out of fate that those two worlds would clash together. So I mean, Matt Smith really set the bar for the American distribution of it, because if you look around, you know, in American stores, you don't see a lot of like Tennant. No, you don't see a lot of Tennant stuff. You don't see a lot of.
What are you? I'm talking about. I was just in Hot Topic, and there was so much Tennant stuff I could have yacked.
That was all Smith stuff.
No, there was a lot of Tennant stuff in there too. You know, I'm kind of along the same lines with you. I love Matt Smith, his goofiness. Tennant, above all, is one of my favorite Doctors, I think.
The thing about Tennant is Tennant can be very serious.
But
he can also be Matt Smith goofy too.
Oh yeah, that's why I love him.
Nothing will ever match Tennant's facial expressions. As the Doctor, ever in the history of Doctor Who. I don't care if we have 15 more, you're never going to be able to top that.
I love, you know, David Tennant's one of my favorite Doctors. For my favorite companion, I would toss up between the Ponds and Rose, because I was just so, but you know, Donna's grown on me now the more and more I watch her. It's really weird. Now, here's a question for you. Your favorite monster on Doctor Who? Your favorite, most scariest monster on Doctor Who?
Wow. I'm going to have to go with, everyone's going to say the Daleks, but to me, I mean, as evil as they are, they're not as scary. I'm going to say the Silence.
You Silence, really?
Because you don't know who they are as soon as you turn away. I mean, it's the perfect, like, villain. I mean, they were very short-lived, and, you know, this is the thing about Moffat. Here's a Moffat mindfuck for you. You know, watch the first episode of The 11th Hour. The 11th Hour, Silence will fall. All that stuff is being said.
But that's from seasons on. We've been hearing the same thing over and over again.
The name will be spoken.
I just love the fact that like that, but it kept on being talked about over and over again.
And that's why I think between the 50th and the Christmas, something with the Silence has to go, because we keep hearing it over and over again.
See, the thing is with the Silence, it was talked about so much. He wrote it and it was gone. Like before you know it. And you know, it was that the season was last year. It was last year. The
Silence has always been with the Ponds. So as long as we've had the Ponds, the Silence has been with the Ponds. Because if you remember, there's a specific episode, because the only reason I remember this, Mark Sheppard, who plays Crowley in Supernatural, he's in the same episode with the Ponds when they go shooting up the Silence.
Oh, is he one of the military guys?
Yeah, he plays the military guy who ends up shooting the Silence with the machine gun.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
You remember that episode?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I actually know. I just recently watched that. That is that's the Wedding of River Song. I think that episode is.
No, that's not that episode.
You sure?
I might be wrong. I don't know.
It might be. I'm pretty.
No, I think that's a separate. No.
That's the episode when they all stage their own deaths, right?
That's the one where they stage their own deaths, and I think that's the same one with the envelopes. Remember how he sent out 3? No, that's a whole different episode. Okay, never mind. I'm getting confused.
No,
I feel like the Pawns was like a whole series.
No,
and I know
that last season before like they announced that they were leaving, the one with
just insane
with Matt Smith getting killed by River and all that, and the way that the Wedding at River song was the one where you find out that it wasn't actually him in there. Oh, I remember when I watched that episode, and I was just like, oh my God, it's one of those things where it's like, some people say that Doctor Who, like the first revival, was written very poorly and the script was cheesy and stuff like that, but right as David Tennant's last couple seasons and Matt Smith, it was starting to get written very, very, very well. And the silence to me, it's
your favorite monster.
It's just that episode, getting them in the water, in the walls and stuff like that, and the silence always knew they could get out, and that was the craziest part, especially when Rory, when he was playing Captain Williams, sitting there and he's staring at him, and just a look between the two. Oh man, it's haunting. Like I would say, yeah, it would probably be the silence, and it's the whole thing with how you can forget, and the way they have to mark themselves to see how many times they've seen them to know that they're there. I mean, that psychologically screws with you that entire season.
Now, see, my favorite monsters are the Weeping Angels, because there is nothing like a freaking statue like gone on crack. Like the Weeping Angels scared the living shit out of me. Even walking around and seeing statues, they scare the living crap out of me. But I agree with the silence. Silence. I think because we only saw them a couple of seasons, but they've been referenced all the time. That's why I think with the 50th or the new Christmas episode, something about the silence is going to happen, because we all know the silence. Doctor Who. It's kind of been Eleven's thing with the silence. You know what I'm trying to say? So I think that they.
Yeah, he's never really. Now here's a question for you: Has Matt Smith ever squared off with a Cyberman? I can't remember.
Oh yeah.
Has he?
Yeah. I feel like we have had Matt.
Because it's always been Daleks and Silence and the Weeping Angels. Those were the three.
No,
I don't think he's ever squared off with the Zygons, because the Zygons haven't been around for a while.
No, the Zygons, yes, he has. The Wild Wild West episode. You keep forgetting about the Wild West episode.
A Town Called Mercy.
Called Mercy.
And that was one of my favorite episodes, too. And I'm going to watch that episode today. I'm going to watch the episode when I get home, because Rory's haircut is awesome in that episode.
So there's a lot of good stuff. I'm really excited.
Weeping Angels, yeah, they're pretty terrifying, because they have this power to throw you,
to zap you anywhere
that they please. And the thing is,
and then you're gonna die there.
They don't move.
Nope. Well, they do.
They do. But it's one of the things where they look completely fine, and boom, it's scary.
Well, see, the scariest ones for me were in the Angels Take Manhattan, when Rory gets thrown in the thing, and the little baby cherub angels. Those scared the living
was that in the hotel?
Shit. Yeah.
Well,
those scared the living shit out of me. Like,
yeah, that was the hotel.
I thought cherubs were supposed to be nice and cute, and no, those fucking things are evil.
You know what the thing is about Angels Take Manhattan was, I knew that was their last episode, so I was like dreading it all the way through. So that episode, mentally, I don't remember much. It was one of those ones where I know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen, because you told me within the last 10 minutes how intense it's going to be. And it starts out perfect. Oh, let's go to Manhattan. Let's go have picnic, everything. And Stephen Moffat has a way of just, everything's good.
Boom!
Done.
Yeah.
Moffat, you bastard.
That's what it was for me, because I had prepared myself. I knew that the Pawns were leaving, but I was watching the episode going, oh, this is really great. This is great. And then, the part where they end up finding Rory and everything, and they end up back in the right time zone. They kill the the Statue of Liberty and everything. And I thought, we're good, right? Andy literally is on his iPad. He goes, nope, you still got 10 minutes. Moffat's gonna fuck you like this. And literally, as soon as he said that, Rory got zapped, and Amy was looking at the Weeping Angel, and I just look over and I go, you fucker!
Here's a question for you. If it would have been switched around, let's just say Amy got zapped first.
Yeah.
Do you think it would have been a lot as intense, or do you think it would have been not as bad?
I think the way it ended was perfect because I think Amy and the doctor had a much bigger relationship. And the fact that River kept her eyes on the angel so that they could say goodbye. And the fact that Amy just looks at me and goes, look, I'm meant to be with Rory. And if you look back at all the Pond adventures, the Ponds it always seems like the doctor and the Ponds are running to find another Pond. Like either Amy's the one who's gone missing or Rory's gone missing or they're always looking for one or the other.
That whole crazy episode where you find out that Amy was not really there. She was in, with
Madame Kevorkian.
Yeah, which was crazy. Which was like, you would have never expected that.
Well, just look at Pandorica Opens where Rory gets sent back as a Centurion and then the whole Amy gets put in the box and how they have to keep going back and forth through time. And
and then Amy gets help from her younger self.
Yeah.
And, the whole thing with Rory is the Centurion is... It's so well done. It's so well done. It's like
a fairy tale. Like it's almost like a fairy tale put into a Doctor Who episode, and that's kind of how I feel about. I started watching Doctor Who as soon as I got diagnosed with celiac disease, and it was it took me almost a month and a half to recover after getting all those testing and all. I mean, I was literally radioactive up to the Hulk. I thought I was going to turn into Spider-Man, and I started with Doctor Who because a friend recommended it a few years ago, and it kind of took over. It was kind of like a fairy tale.
Did you get into it right? You got into it right after Tennant was about to leave, right? So
No, my friend told me to start with Rose, and so I started with Rose. I had seen Classic because Dion was raised on Classic Doctor Who, so I had watched a few Classic.
But when you started it, did you get up to speed right as Tennant was about to leave? So it was a lot harder on you?
No,
or was Matt Smith already the Doctor?
Matt Smith was already the Doctor by the time I finished. And Matt, so, I was already prepared and I was ready and I liked Matt Smith and it turned into a fairy tale for me because, I guess this is because I'm a girl, but who wouldn't like a giant freaking alien with a box telling you, hey, you want to run around in time and space? Like, you can see anything. Like, seriously, would you not?
I love the line in the 11th hour when she you kept the bow tie and he says the bow tie, she goes, are you an alien? He goes, yeah. You want to come check out some stuff?
Yeah.
Like the way how nonchalant he goes,
yeah,
you want to come check out some stuff? And that's literally how it's been for every single one. However, though, the connection between Amy and Matt Smith was a lot more intense. It was like when Christopher Eccleston asked Rose if she wanted to go. She wasn't
ready to go, but she went.
She went anyway. And it's with,
Martha, we only had a few episodes. Donna, she was around for a while.
See, the thing about Donna is Donna plays a very prominent role.
Well, Donna didn't leave on her terms.
Yeah, I mean, she got her brain erased, and that was the hardest thing to watch. Was when Donna got back to normal, and he comes in, and her dad still knows who the Doctor is, and she kind of tells him to fuck off a little bit, like when she comes in, and he's like. He says goodbye to her. She's like, all right, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, like it killed him, but it didn't faze her.
And that I believe that was very close to being the end of Tennant's run. And you see, him, regenerating because Tennant risked his life to save Donna's father.
Yeah,
and that when he goes back to right before Rose and 09 meet was, oh my God.
That was such a classic moment. Like, it was just like, oh, this is perfect. Like, this was the icing on the cake because, if you reference back to the first season, I think it's like the first or second episode, she looks over at the Doctor and she said something and he goes, what? And she said, a guy told me that I was going to have a great year. And it's like, and you didn't know it at the time.
You didn't know it until like 4 years later. You had no idea. And the thing about it is, do you think that she knew by seeing him?
Put two and two together. I'm sure it didn't hit. I don't think it hit her until after the fact. Yeah,
because it's one of those. It's something that the way Moffat writes. You would think she would know, but she doesn't. Like it's that thing where it's like, I see it, but I'm not gonna let you know that I know.
Okay, here's a question for you: favorite Doctor Who episode, hands down?
Oh, that's easy.
Which one?
Vincent and the Doctor.
Oh yeah, that's right. You have a thing for Vincent and the Doctor. That's one of my top 5
It's the
episodes.
first Doctor Who episode that, I'm going to sound like a pussy here, but it's the first episode that made me cry.
Well, yeah, because it's just a good episode. It's in my top 5.
The last 10 minutes. The last 10 minutes when they bring him back
to present.
into the present and show him. And it's really sad, too, is when they put him back and they realize that he did end up committing suicide again. Not again, but like he did end up committing suicide. It was super sad, too. And I would say that the 11th hour is really good. I can't say that any of the recent episodes are my favorite. As much as I love Clara and I think she's great, I just they don't hit me as much. I really like the Fires of Pompeii.
That's a good episode.
I'd say those 3 would probably be my top 3.
I like the Vincent. That one's one of my favorites. The name of the Doctor this last episode, I think one of my favorite moments was the whole River Song the Doctor interaction where he goes, "I can always see you." Seriously, sitting on my bed bawling. I'm like, this is the perfect love story ever.
I did like the Crimson Horror. That was a good from the newer one. That was a newer one because I really like I really like Jenny. I've always really liked Jenny
and all that.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something about her that I've always liked.
That one, and I think my other favorite one. This is sad to say. I don't like it because of what happened. I remember it because it's one of my favorites. Is when he goes back and gives her 10.2.
Yeah.
That's like one of the moments where it's like, oh yes, finally I get what I wanted. That's another. Huh?
Is that Doomsday?
That might have been Doomsday. I think it was.
Might have been Doomsday.
But that one's another good one, and then but I like those.
Vincent and the Doctor. I always love when they go back and take these predominant world history characters like who's the one that they go back when the British are making the Daleks. Who
Churchill.
Yeah, Winston Churchill. I love those episodes too. I love the episode where David Tennant came out of the mirror.
Oh, that's the one with Madame Pomfrey.
Yeah, and doesn't he fall in love with her too?
No, he snogs her, and then he ends up coming back.
Is she the one that can see him through the fire?
Yes,
the fireplace.
She's the one that says.
That one was really sad too.
That was a good, but you know what?
That was really sad.
That one
when he comes back, and her husband tells him that she died.
That's the same thing with Astrid in that one episode with the Titanic.
That's a great episode too.
That's another. There's a lot of companions that were supposed to be like. I thought Sally Sparrow was going to last a while when the Weeping Angels were first introduced, and I think there's something going on that one too with that episode. That one's going to be referenced again soon because if you remember at the end of that episode, David Tennant looks at her and she goes, "Actually, I got 4 things. It's a lizard, something, and a potato." And if you remember, that's what Matt Smith calls Strax and Jenny.
Yeah.
I'm going to go deal with 2 things. Well, actually, it's a lizard and a potato, I don't think those are the exact lines, but you understand what I'm referencing.
What is your favorite line from Doctor Who? Keep this ball rolling here, might as well.
My favorite line from Doctor Who.
And it cannot be one of the main catchphrases.
Oh, snap. I am a real big fan of, though, Alan Z. That's like one of the newest things I've been thinking about getting tatted on me. But, no, Alan Z, I think my favorite, it's some, oh my goodness. That's a hard one, Tyler. What's your favorite?
My favorite one is River when she just regenerates during the Third Reich episode.
Uh-huh.
And they ask what she's doing here.
Oh, where she goes, the bar mitzvah and the gypsy.
The gay gypsy bar mitzvah. And I was like, there's nothing going on today. Might as well kill the frog. That is one of my favorite lines ever. And it'd probably be that. Or my favorite one, it's kind of cheating because it has to do with the bow tie. But the sleeping episode, the dreaming episode where Amy's pregnant.
Oh, yeah.
Does anybody want to point out Roy's ponytail? You hold him down, I cut it off?
Yeah.
Says the man in the bow tie.
Yeah.
Or clearly there's an elephant in the room. She goes, I have to be this size. I'm having a baby.
Oh, my goodness.
It's like the interactions between the pawns are, probably my favorite.
I really like those ones. There's a lot of there's a lot of good quotes that come out of this show. It's like it's kind of ridiculous.
Favorite character?
Hold on, I'm trying to find I'm Googling what I was looking for. I was looking for it earlier, but I can't.
I would say my favorite character.
Something is like, in 900 years of being in the universe, I've never met anybody who's not important. Like, I love those ones. And I don't want to say it's Baker. It might have been Baker or Davidson where he says, what's the point of growing up?
That's 4.
4, okay.
That's 4.
What's the point of being an adult if you can't act childish every now and once again? And I think that's a great, you have to remind yourself, especially as we get older.
That was the first line where you realize that, you had these first 3 doctors, which were very serious. And then you got the 4th, which was a little childish. And that's why, in my opinion, I feel that something about 4 was evolved into 11.
Well, yeah, I think they're very similar.
The same thing with 2. Look at 2. Bow tie.
But you know what? It's always the same thing. They're always picking pieces off other doctors to combine
the only one, like, the costumes that they've come up with were great. The only one I just can't stand is Colin Baker's rainbow trench coat.
I love it.
I mean, it's cool, but it's just like I love it. It's so like out there. It's the first time you ever look at the doctor. You're like,
but
really?
Here, let's stop and think about this. At what point do you look at a Doctor Who episode? Like, if a random person came in and just started watching Doctor Who and looked at the costume the Doctor was wearing, wouldn't anyone in their right mind go, "What the fuck is he wearing?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Every doctor, it doesn't matter. I mean, the only one I think who looks semi-normal is Chris Eccleston in his costume because he actually looks semi like a normal person. Everyone else is, who runs around in a brand new suit and a trench coat and Converse? Like, please, fucking tell me who does that.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, even Matt Smith, they kind of made him in the beginning kind of hipstered out a little bit. Matt Smith, to me, is the only one that I've seen is completely 100% modern to the time it was filmed. Like, somebody in Britain would wear that, and thanks to Matt Smith, everybody in America rocks that now. Yeah. So I mean, it's the costume's very. That's why I'm actually really excited to see what Peter Capaldi's going to wear because I feel that Peter Capaldi's like a gentleman. So
he's going to be a cross between 10 and 11, I think.
I feel that he is going to wear a suit. Like an actual suit, or he's going to be wearing like a turtleneck with a jacket and a scarf. I kind of see. Like,
you're thinking like a Cumberbatch, like
yeah. No, he's kind of like rocking like some Sherlock attire, and so I think that 12, like that's how I always get excited to see because Stephen Moffat lets the actors pick out their own, pick what they want to wear, and I think when Christopher Eccleston was in there, he wanted to modernize it because the last time that it had been around was the 80s if you don't count the movie.
Yeah, and
even in the movie. He was wearing super like Victorian kind of stuff.
Wasn't with it. No, it should be, especially now that we're 10 days down, we're going to have a lot more stuff coming out. It should be really interesting. But the Doctor Who 50th is going to be Saturday, November 23rd.
I cannot wait.
11:50
Pacific Standard Time.
Pacific Time, or it's, 12? Oops, sorry. 2:50 Eastern Time, or if you are in between the times, or you're in Hawaiian, or
just Google,
or if you're on even if you're in Europe, check BBC.com. They will have every channel.
England is going to be 8:50 or 7:50.
It's all online, so go Google it. Tyler, what's our question of the podcast?
If you could be any one of the doctors or companions, who would you be? And that's going to be the question. You have to answer both.
Yeah, you have to. I would probably be David Tennant.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
And I would probably want to be Amy Pond.
Really?
I'd be Amy Pond. Yeah. That's who I would want to be because, David Tennant's my favorite. And Andy always laughs at me and calls me the girl who waits because I wait around all day for everything that's going on. So I'm the girl who's waited. So I don't know. I feel affinity with Amy Pond. Who would you choose?
I would be, just because of the clothing and in general and the haircut, I would easily be 11.
11? Who's your companion?
I would be 11 or I would be 5.
Okay.
I would be 5 because, to be able to rock a vegetable.
That's pretty damn good.
And
who would your companion be? Who would I
be as a companion? I'd probably be Rory.
Oh, really?
Rory, to me, because Rory is, as weird as it's going to sound, Rory is the epitome of somebody who loves and cares and is gentle, and he's just all around good guy, and he's stupid too.
He's dumb as he's the best of both worlds. So our question of the podcast: if you could be any of the 11 doctors and or a companion, who would you be or why? You know, you can always hit us up on Tumblr at thegameofnerds.tumblr.com, on Twitter at TGON Podcast, on Facebook, or on YouTube at The Game of Nerds. Look us up. We are all online now. Tyler, what's coming up for our next podcast?
Our next podcast is going to be like the 2013 movie review. You know, so what were our favorites?
We're reviewing
of
movies.
2013.
We'll be in December, Tyler.
Oh no, we'll be in Christmas time.
Christmas.
And we're going to be talking about The Hobbit, Desolation of Smog, which I'm just super excited for. Anchorman 2. I mean, come on.
Yeah, come on.
Come on.
Ron Burgundy's back.
I'm more partial to Brian Fantana because
really?
he is the ultimate scum.
I love
Panda to watch.
And, you know, we got Saving Banks. There's a bunch of new movies coming out for December, and so we're just going to talk about movie reviews for our next podcast, so it should be really, really interesting.
Yep, and, you know, once again, you can always find us at Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube,
SoundCloud, I think Instagram. We've got it all now at this point. So, you know,
it's going to be
thanks,
evolving
Nicole,
a lot
for all of this. We love you.
Thank you that I can focus on doing this now and not have to worry about anything else, which, I mean, you know.
It's awesome. So, from all of us here at the Game of Nerds podcast, thank you for checking us out. We hope you have a great week. And remember, you're awesome no matter what anyone says.
Later.
Late.